Chris Sutton has responded to the Old Firm injury news with enormous blow for Celtic losing the best defender in the league by a stretch. Well, you know what? When Cameron Carter-Vickers is fit, I think he is the best defender in the league. When I say by a stretch, I mean I don't think it's by a massive amount, but here I'm not going to disagree with Chris Sutton too much on this matter. But I don't think he's been that good this season, Carter Vickers. And I say that good. I think the previous two seasons, I think the standards were just that high that simply, it would have been pretty hard to ever get back to those heights. Especially, seems like with the more injuries he's been getting this season, it's like knocked him a bit. And also you've had the re-emergence of Scales. Because if you think about the first season he had at Celtic, it was all about Carter Vickers. Then in the second season, I think Starfelt had probably just as good a season as Carter Vickers. But this season we've seen Liam Scales, who's kind of took the mantle for his own. But he was also asked another question, Chris Sutton. And now it's regarding everything Celtic. And they said, would you put Abada and Rio straight in tomorrow versus Rangers? And Chris Sutton, with a simple answer, said no. Now, maybe it's one reason for Rio and another for Abada, knowing most Celtic fans' views on the nationality of Lil Abada. But here, I'm not going to put words in Chris Sutton's mouth because he simply said no regarding both of them. And even though, yes, I think they'll both be on the bench, I think to start Hatate in a midfield that, it's going to be chaos tomorrow, man. And I think that's where the Old Firms are mostly won and lost. It's the midfield battle, and also defensively mistakes last season at Parkhead cost us. But I think if Hatate's not fit, it would be a major risk putting him in there. Even though Hatate easily one of the best defenders in the league, I'm willing to admit it. He is Lil Abada. I've seen Celtic fans in the comments to their video because Celtic announced it earlier about Lil Abada returning from injury, almost like a new player. It reminded me of Arsene Wenger when he used to be like, and Theo Walcott, he back, and yeah, he's like a new signing in January, and yes, it's quite incredible that Theo Walcott is back, and now we don't need to spend 54 million on Yaya Sanogo. So yeah, and Arsene Wenger here. So Celtic channeling their inner Arsenal, when the Cronkies were penny pinching, so to speak. Now they're not really doing that down at Arsenal, but it always reminds me when a team get a player back for injury and they're like, it's a new side, and it's like Arsene Wenger, like an iconic line for him. So with that happening there, what will Celtic produce tomorrow in terms of their starting 11? Carter Vickers won't be in it. Lil Abada, I think Lil Abada will come off the bench. As for Rio Hatate, I'm not quite sure. I think he could come off the bench, but I'd say there's pretty much zero chance either of these two guys starts. And that is where we're going to leave this video. A lot of questions being asked about both teams. Chris Sutton's responded to it though, more of the Celtic end. And Paddy Parr, they put up quite the interesting vid, didn't they? About Celtic fans being obsessed and pretending that Rangers Football Club don't exist. It's the Glasgow Derby. It's not the Old Firm. Or is it actually Pacific Shelf versus Sevco? Or is it just Pacific Shelf versus Rangers? What's it going to be? What's it going to be, the Celtic fans?